This is Pokling 888 Telemetrading Daily Market Research and Data Analysis. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index fell 77.56 points or 1.07% to close at 7,200 pesos and 88 cents at exactly 12:50 p.m. The market opened at the price of 7,151 pesos and 66 cents. And the day's range started from 7,000 up to 7,202 pesos and 72 cents. And for the past 52 weeks, the range started from 6,080 pesos and 94 cents to 7,475 pesos and 75 cents. Here are the top 10 most active companies in the Philippine Stock Exchange in terms of volume. AC Energy Philippines depreciated 0.46 cents or negative 3.92% change to close at 11 pesos and 28 cents per share with a volume of 444.12 million. Monday Nissin fell 0.58 cents or 3.30% with a price of 17 pesos and 2 cents per share with a volume of 329.79 million. Next, All Day Marts depreciated 0.01 cents or 1.37% to close at a price of 0.72 per share with a volume of 125.08 million. Premier Entertainment fell 0.050 cents or 6.94% to close at a price of 0.670 cents per share with a volume of 60.12 million. Next, the LT Group fell 0.380 cents or 3.46% to close at 10.6 cents per share with a volume of 52.62 million. Next, Ayala Land fell 4.70% or 1.7 or 1 peso and 7 cents to close at a price of 34 pesos and 5 cents per share with a volume of 30.79 million. Next, DMCI had an increase of 0.440 cents or 5.71% to close at a price per share of 8 pesos and 14 cents with a volume of 48.66 million. Next, the SM Prime went up 0.8 cents or 2.19% to close at a price per share of 37 pesos and 4 cents with a volume of 41.97 million. Next, the Converge Information had a change of positive 1.85 or 1 peso and 85 cents and a change of 6.14% to close at 32 pesos per share with a volume of 21.28 million. Next, the Bloomberry Resorts increased 0.14 cents or 1.83% to close at a price per share of 7 pesos and 79 cents with a volume of 10.82 million. And here are the top gainers companies. PhilTrust Bank had an increase of 7.80 or 7 pesos and 80 cents or 7.79% to close at a price of 107 pesos and 90 cents per share. iPeople had an increase of 520 cents or 7.48% to close at a price per share of 7 pesos and 470 cents. Next, Centro Escolar had an increase of 0.450 cents or 6.91% at a price of 6.960 cents. Next, the Converge Information had an increase of 1 peso and 85 cents and gained 6.14% at a price of 32 pesos per share. Next, DMCI increased 0.44 cents or gained 5.71% at a price of 8 pesos and 14 cents per share. Next, Philippine 7 had a positive change or increase of 3 pesos and 60 cents or 3.98% increase to close at 94 pesos per share. Next, Alson's Consolidated had an increase of 0.04 or 3.64% to close at a price per share of 1 peso and 14 cents. Next, APC Group had an increase of 0.008 or 3.48% at a price of 0.238 cents per share. Next, the Discovery World increased 0.070 cents or 3.40% to close at a price of 2 pesos and 13 cents per share. And the last top gainer company was the Shakey's Pizza Asia, had an increase of 0.28 cents or 3.33% to close at a price of 8.69 per share. Here are the top losers companies. Manulife Financial went down 182 pesos or 18.53% to close at a price per share of 800 pesos. Philippine Estates fell down 0.060 cents or 9.83% to close at a price per share of 0.550 cents. Next, Easy Call Communications Philippines fell down 0.4 cents or 8.70% to close at a price per share of 4 pesos and 2 cents. Next, Double Dragon had a decrease of 0.72 cents or 8.61% to close at a price per share of 7 pesos and 64 cents. Next, SunTrust Home depreciated 0.11 cents or had losses of 8.21% to close at a price of 1 peso and 23 cents. Next, Macro Asia fell down 0.46 cents or losses of 7.62% to close at a price of 5 pesos and 58 cents per share. Next, Now Corporation fell down 0.12 cents or losses of 7.19% to close at a price of 1 peso and 550 cents or 55 cents. Next, the Premier Entertainment depreciated 0.050 cents or 6.94% to close at a price of 0.67 cents per share. And the last was the Crown Equities depreciated 0.007 or 6.48% to close at a price of 0.101 cents per share. This is the gold price update. Gold prices struggle even as markets convulse amid Omicron fears. Gold prices seasoned as illiquid financial markets drained dry by U.S. Thanksgiving holiday closures convolves on World Health Organization reports of a new of concern COVID-19 variant dubbed Omicron. Bullion initially rallied as bond yields fell and the futures implied Fed rate hike path flattened a bit for 2022-2023. Gains would prove to be short-lived, however, with the rapid intraday reversal bringing gold nearly all the way to flat by the daily close. Worries about a slowdown in growth in the event of another wave of lockdowns pulled down inflation expectations. In turn, that lifted real interest rates, nominal rates less expected inflation. Gold technical analysis for 3-month uptrend in the balance. Gold prices are idling above support, guiding them higher since August. Immediate resistance is capped at $1,808.16, with a daily close above the exposing the next barrier at $1,834.14. Alternatively, securing a break of $1,750.78 might hand sellers the initiative, with support anchored at $1,717.89 in view thereafter. This is the Forex news according to Wiki Forex. Forex option expiries for November 29 at 10 a.m. New York cut. The 1 for euro to US dollars may act as more of a lead on price action in the session ahead, though overall trading sentiment is still largely dependent on the risk mood and Omicron headlines, so that takes precedence over everything else at the moment. Likewise, for US dollars to Swiss franc, the one at 0.9275 may be seen as more of a magnet to keep price action a little more contained before rolling off. But again, this is all subject to risk sentiment, which is seen bouncing a little after Friday's plunge. Now, the most volatile currency pairs and how to trade them. What are the most volatile currency pairs? The most volatile major currency pairs are the following: Australian dollars to Japan yen, New Zealand dollar to Japan yen, Australian dollar to US dollar, Canadian dollar to Japanese yen, Australian dollar to pound sterling. Other major currency pairs like euro to US dollar, USD to Japan yen, pound sterling to US dollar, and US dollar to Swiss franc are generally more liquid and less volatile as a result. That said, emerging market currency pairs such as US dollar to ZAR, US dollar to TRY, and US dollar to Mexican peso can clock some of the highest volatility readings. Most volatile currency pairs, the majors are Australian dollar to Japan yen, New Zealand dollar to Japan yen, Australian dollar to US dollar, Canadian dollar to Japan yen, British pound or pound sterling to Australian dollar, and the emerging markets, USD to ZAR, USD to TRY, and USD to MXN. Aside from relatively low liquidity, emerging market currencies tend to be highly volatile, in particular due to inherent risk underpinning emerging market economies. What about the least volatile currency pairs? The least volatile currency pairs tend to be the major currency pairs, which are also the most liquid. Also, these economies tend to be larger and more developed. This attracts more trading volume and facilitates greater price stability in turn. To that end, considering euro to USD, USD to Swiss franc, and euro to pound trade with high volumes of liquidity. It comes as little surprise they are among the least volatile currency pairs. Crypto scammers make $9 million in fake prominent channel video streams. Crypto scammers during the month of October got around $9 million by defrauding their victims through fake giveaway scams on video channel. Crypto scammers have stepped up their acts in devising new means of defrauding their victims, as new research has revealed that they now dictate channel videos of influential people in the crypto industry to promote fake crypto giveaways. Crypto scammers got $9 million through doctoring channel videos. According to the research conducted by Tenable, crypto scammers were able to defraud unsuspecting individuals of around $9 million in October through the fake promotions of giveaways involving crypto assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Cardano, Ripple, and Shiba Inu. Tenable revealed that the scammers tend to use old, irrelevant, and unrelated video channel interview videos featuring popular individuals in the crypto industry like Elon Musk, Vitalik Buterin, Michael Saylor, and others, while accompanying the videos with tweets detailing the fake giveaway event. And this is the market news in different countries. In New Zealand stocks slipped further on virus fears. The New Zealand Stock Exchange 50 index fell another 0.77% to close at 12,532 on Monday, as market fear gripped investors and uncertainty surrounding the new COVID variant continued to weigh on sentiment. A broad market participation contributed to the declines, but losses from Z Energy 1.14%, A2 Milk 1.27%, Spark New Zealand 1.02%, Fletcher Building 1.47%, Main Freight 1.67%, Stride Property 2.38%, Air New Zealand 3.17%, and Circle Limited with 5.63% losses. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced on Monday that the country will proceed with a planned move into a system of living with the COVID-19 virus later this week, despite the Omicron posing a new threat globally. In Netherlands, Dutch business mood hits record peak. The Netherlands Business Confidence Indicator rose to a record high of 12.7 in November 2021 from 12.3 a month earlier. Manufacturers' views on both order books 23 versus 21.1 in October and their assessments on stocks of finished products 3.6 versus 3.3 strengthened further. Meantime, entrepreneurs were slightly less optimistic about the future production from 11.6 versus 12.4. In USA, dollar rises as hawkish bets remain. The dollar index gained 0.2% to trade above 96.2 on Monday as traders balance concerns over the Omicron variant with expectations of higher U.S. interest rates. Atlanta Federal Reserve President Raphael Bostic was the latest among a growing number of Fed officials, stating openness to accelerating the pace of stimulus tapering after he expressed hopes that the momentum of the U.S. economy will carry it through the next wave of the pandemic. He also acknowledged the possibility of at least 2 rate hikes next year if inflation remains elevated. Markets, meanwhile, monitor closely any developments on the new variant as Japan suspended all new entries by foreign nationals on Monday. In Singapore producer inflation highest since 1980. The domestic supply price index in Singapore jumped 25.4% from a year earlier in October 2021, accelerating from a 21.3% rise in the previous month. It was the highest producer price inflation since March 1980, as both mineral fuels prices 97.4% versus 77.7%, and the crude materials excluded fuels from 13.5% versus 12.9% rose faster. Also, prices advanced more for manufactured goods, 14.3% versus 14%, food and live animals, 4.5% versus 3.2%, miscellaneous manufactured, 1.9% versus 1.3%, animal and vegetable oils, 51.7% versus 50.3%, beverages and tobacco, 1.5% versus 0.3%, and chemicals, 15% versus 14%. Meanwhile, prices of machinery and transport equipment continued to increase from 5.5% to 5.7%. In Taiwan consumer morale falls to 5-month low. The Consumer Confidence Index in Taiwan declined 0.93 points to 73.33 in November of 2021 from 74.26 a month earlier. This was the weakest reading since June amid a deterioration in the family economic outlook, down 5.5 to 81.95. Prices in the next 6 months, down 3.35 points to 35.45, and domestic economic outlook down 2.2 points to 86.7. Meanwhile, the sub-index of employment opportunities was little changed at 66.6. At the same time, there was an improvement in both the timing for buying durable goods, up 3.7 points to 120.5, and the timing to invest in stock markets, up 1.4 points to 48.8. In China stocks wobble as investors mull new variant. The Shanghai Composite and Shenzhen Component indices opened about 1% lower before reversing early losses to trade near the flat line on Monday, as investors remain cautious amid concerns over the new COVID variant and its effects on reopening efforts and the global economic recovery. Stocks in the travel and consumer services industries led the market declines, with notable losses from Air China, 2.9%, China Southern Airlines, 4.2%, Spring Airlines, 1.5%, China Tourism Group, 3%, and Zinfo Labi, 3.2% losses. Coal-related stocks also dropped after the Chinese government signaled further regulations on the commodities price mechanism. Meanwhile, new energy and high-end manufacturing firms mostly advanced as the clean energy investment theme continued to gain momentum in China. In Japan, Japanese shares mixed amid Omicron variant concerns. The Nikkei 225 index opened more than 1% down before paring back early losses to trade flat on Monday, while the broader topics index declined as investors navigated market volatility driven by the more contagious COVID variant. The Omicron strain, which the World Health Organization labeled as a variant of concern, was first reported from South Africa and has since been found in the UK, Israel, Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Australia, and Hong Kong. Travel-related and export-heavy industries extended Friday's declines, with losses from Toyota Motor Negative 2.1% or losses of 2.1%. Nissan Motor 4%. Honda Motor losses of 2.3%. Japan Airlines appreciated 1.2%. Anna Holding losses of 1.6%. East Japan Railway losses of 1.5%. West Japan Railway declined 1.5%, and Central Japan Railway losses of 1.9%. Meanwhile, shipping firms and select technology stocks staged an early rebound. In Europe, European stock futures higher. Investors reassess Omicron variant damage. European stock markets are expected to open firmly higher Monday, unwinding some of Friday's hefty losses as investors reassess the potential economic damage the newly discovered Omicron COVID variant might cause. The DAX futures contract in Germany traded 2.1% higher. CAC 40 futures in France climbed 1.7%, and the FTSE 100 futures contract in the UK rose 1.6%. The new coronavirus variant has spread rapidly around the world, with new cases found in the UK, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Australia, prompting more travel restrictions as countries try to isolate themselves. In South Africa, fighting forex scams in South Africa through WikiForex. WikiForex is global forex regulatory platforms owned by Wiki Company Limited with branch offices across the globe and headquartered in Hong Kong, China. This company, through its South African branch, helps to fight forex scams in South Africa by carrying out thorough investigation about the existence of the different brokers, online trading platforms, and exchange that feature in South Africa. Consequently, all forex traders in South Africa are invited to download WikiFX app, through which they can always obtain correct data and facts surrounding any broker and exchange they intend to deal with. WikiForex also helps the defrauded to regain their capital by exposing the scam brokers and tracing them to repay their clients. All South African traders are invited to report their experience of scam brokers and exchange to WikiForex as to fight their battle for them and help them regain their investments.